As we trotted away, the old couple waved to us from their door and watched anxiously as we took the worn path down the hill. We walked along the dirt path for miles in the heat of the morning, resting often and drinking from the 3 huge gourds of well water Teresita's husband had given us. Velia, Delia, and Juanita argued often, especially over the amount of water any one person should drink. Sometimes they got so nasty with each other I threatened to blister someone's behind with my chancla if they said one more mean word to each other. By late afternoon, I had them walking in pairs, a good 10 feet apart from each other. Peta did nothing but complain, even when we sat in the shade, so I paired her with Juanita since she couldn't seem to get along with anyone else. By the afternoon, we realized we needed to get out of the sun for a while, so we started talking about looking for a shady place to rest. It was while we were looking for a safe place to settle down that we saw it. A lame donkey, harnessed to a dilapidated old wagon, was making its way down the road toward us. "Eeyore!" Peta screamed and started to walk toward the cart. "That's not Eeyore," Juanita said, pulling Peta back by her sleeve. "Well, I didn't mean the real Eeyore," Peta explained. Just one like him. "Look, he even has a ribbon on his tail." "It's not a ribbon," Juanita corrected. "It's a dirty rag." Peta ran up to meet the donkey, who had come to a complete stop before us. "Whatever, I don't care what you think." The donkey hung its head, looking pathetic. As I got closer to the cart and inspected the poor animal, I had to admit it did look a bit Eeyore-ish. He had big sad eyes, and his lips were turned down at the corners like it was a little depressed. "Don't touch it," I said, slapping Peta's hands away as she came up to meet the beast. "He says he's tired," Peta stroked his neck and face, "and thirsty, and covered in fleas," Juanita interjected. "You're going to get piojos if you keep petting him." I moved to examine the animal's head. Peta was making kissy faces at the donkey and cooing at him. I said not to touch it. I tried to pull Peta away from the beast, but she shook me off. Delia came up and joined Peta in petting the donkey. "You two are weird. You'll touch a dead man, but you won't touch a living, breathing animal. Something's definitely wrong with you." "I'll touch it if it's not all dirty and gross," Juanita said. "All right, that's enough," I said, pushing them all out of the way. The donkey's foreleg looked swollen at the ankle, so I crouched down to inspect it. "Is it hurt?" Juanita wanted to know. "I don't know," I said. "I can't tell what's wrong, but it was limping. I wonder who it belongs to." Peta shushed everyone and cocked her ear at the donkey, who was braying loudly. "Listen to him. He says he's all right. He's just tired, and we should give him a little time to rest." "You're nuts. You know that, right?" Juanita told Peta, who ignored her and turned her attention back to the donkey. "Leave her alone," I said absently. I looked down the road, trying to figure out where the animal had come from. Maybe we had missed a ranchito somewhere along the way. It might be worth our while to backtrack a little and investigate because we were running low on water. "Well, she is," Juanita complained. "She's having a conversation with a donkey, for God's sake." "She is not," I insisted. "She's just pretending." Peta put her ear to the animal's mouth like she was listening to him speak. Juanita grabbed our little sister's arm and pulled her away. "Peta, don't do that. It could be sick, mamita." I scrambled onto a boulder and looked down at the horizon as far as I could see. With my hand shading my eyes, I surveyed the circumference of the area looking for a dwelling, a farm, or a ranch house where the donkey might belong. But there was nothing out there but brush and huasache trees. As far as I could tell, he'd come out of nowhere. I couldn't help but wonder what happened to his owner. "His name is Charito," Peta said, interpreting the beast's thunderous brays. "He says he'll take us to Abuelita's house. He knows the way. We should just wait a little while he catches his breath." Peta's words, her conviction that the donkey could speak and she could understand him, made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up to alert. La Llorona's warnings, Teresita's reading, they all came back to me. "So let me get this straight," Juanita asked Peta as my mind raced through the warning signs, trying to remember the things I should be looking for. "This is a talking donkey, and it wants to give us a ride. Is that it?" "I'm all for that." Velia jumped on the rickety wagon and looked around for a way to navigate the newfound vehicle. "Odelia, do you know how to drive this thing? Where's the steering wheel?" My mind back on the present, I hurried to the front of the wagon. "There is no steering wheel, and you should really get down from there." I reached up to help her get off the wagon, but Velia ignored me. "He says you don't have to use the reins. He knows where we're going," Peta said, pressing her cheek against the animal's cheek and smoothing down the tuft of hair on his forehead. "Sure, whatever." Juanita looked at me and circled her index finger around her ear to show me what she thought of Peta's interpretations. Juanita paused and scrutinized the wagon. It was big enough to hold all of us, and though it was old, it seemed sturdy enough to take us all the way to Abuelita's house. Listen, this might not be a real talking donkey, but using the wagon to get to Abuelita Remedio's house is not a bad idea. Okay, everybody up. Juanita suited her own words and climbed up herself. No, 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 I said, taking the reins in my hands. Juanita reached for them, but I stepped out of her reach on the driver's seat. The other girls stood halfway ready to climb up, but scuffed their feet in indecision at my vehemence. We didn't agree on this. This animal should have an owner nearby. I mean, where's the driver here? Farm animals aren't tethered to wagons 24/7. It's obvious something happened to the owner. He probably fell, or worse yet, the donkey might have gone psycho and run off without him.